Good evening, my Kangen
Yeah,
family.
okay. Okay, so at
Wherever
least
you are.
I know the speaker is in the house. Okay. Let me do the Grand Cardone style of introducing the speakers. Okay, Win, you're gonna be blown away with this introduction. Okay. So guys, you are gonna hear this lady. Now, let me tell you from my perspective of this amazing. Okay, you know there's a saying, small in size, big in heart, or small in size, big in action. This is the person you want to hear tonight. I'm telling you. Okay, why? I will have to say Win is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Win is 8 levels from me. Okay, 8 levels. Now, a lot of people will not even have bothered. Okay, those are my Kangen distributors here, Kangen partners, Kangen leaders, whether you are my team, other team. A lot of people make the gravest mistake by looking at the 8 point. So you and I know if Win is 8 levels from me, I think from day one. Do you know what, guys? I've never experienced a single point from Win and Win's group. Okay, that I'm telling you upfront. But nevertheless, I am the type of person that I will go all the way. If I spot a leader, I will go all the way to support her. But anyway, my first impression of Win is, to me, this lady is either two-way. It's either two-way, okay? One, she will not even bother, she won't do. But if she do, I am very sure, deep in my heart, okay, deep in my heart, I know if she do, she will fly to the stars. She will fly to the sun, to the moon, whatever. I know. You know why I tell you this? I still remember, it was so clear in my head, Wow, this imagination until today still give me the chills, the chills, like you're watching, that horror movie. Okay, why? I still remember I have brought my whole family to Okinawa. And one of those, you and I know, right? We have a yearly ritual that we have to go to Okinawa because our big boss, Mr. Oshiro's birthday. So there was one year, if I'm not mistaken, about 4 years ago, I brought my whole family there. We have a lovely suite. And I was about to attend the first day event in Okinawa to see Mr. Oshiro. And out of the blue, I got a call. Wow, Australia. It's like, who is this person, And I was like getting ready, going out. And this lady, okay, of course, today you know her as Win. I call her the queen of Enagic in Australia. Seriously, queen, And she told me, she said, hey, Gary, you know what? I know that you'll be meeting up with the boss, with the owner, Mr. Oshiro. Can you ask him if he can actually get us this certification? Wow, I was like, wow. I mean, of course, at that point of time, if you get a call like that, you will probably think like, hey, what's all this, But deep in my heart, I know if somebody, okay, and I think, Win, at that point of time, you were not even a 2A or something, right? You were just about starting, right? Yeah, it's like she's just starting. She's not, but the fact that she won this, and you can hear it, it's like her mouth is literally on my ears, it's like, Gary, wow. And then and there, I know I've got a queen. I've got a queen in my group, okay? And of course, I told many people this. I say, if somebody can do this, it actually represents that fighting spirit. A lot of people are probably put off with this style of attitude. A lot of people are like, but I looked at it as, hey, that is really a fighting spirit. It's like if you want to go to a dog fight, you want a dog that bark, not just bark, but bites like crazy, right? So yeah, but okay, don't worry, she won't bite you. Don't bark today, okay? Don't worry. Okay, but I'm telling you, from then on, I got to know her and went a few times to Perth and see her in action. And what Jeffrey talked to you that day about that incident that happened in Perth is true, because her kids were staying in my unit, and I think she only got back something like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. One single lady driving, and guys, if those of y'all who has been to Perth and to Margaret River, that whole journey was like pitch darkness, right? You know, the tires may just burst and the car, whatever may just happen. She chose to do it. That's a level of commitment. That's a level of excellence in whatever she do. Okay, guys, so I don't want to say so much. The spotlight is not supposed to be on me today. The spotlight is on this very amazing lady. And more important, the reason why I'm calling her to do this sharing today is, now this lady has such an amazing story to tell, okay? And I feel that her story will somehow connect with either you or your people. So guys, if you have invited some of your people and they're not here right now, I strongly suggest you to bring all your people to listen, because sometimes you need a third party story to get that hook, you know. It's like that hook, that one hook, okay, will change their life, will change your life, okay? So I'm very sure today Uyen has a very amazing story. And once again, guys, if you are on there, I'd like you to give a big warm welcome to none other than the Queen of Kangen, Australia, Miss Uyen Tran. Let's give her a big round of applause. Yeah. Hey,
So
Uyen.
much, Gary. You're the best. You're my favorite. Thank you. I will have to say the reason why I did that Margaret River craziness is that I adore you guys. And I couldn't imagine saying to you, I can't do this trip with you. But I also have a commitment to my team. So because I adore you guys, you, Jeffrey, Lily, I just couldn't say no, but I knew I have a dedication and a commitment to my team. In fact, when I went to Landmark one time, it was the finale, and I actually said I have to go and do a demo for my team, and they said, Uyen, they can live without you. And I said, no, I've made a commitment every week. I have to do this, and I gotta go. Everyone said, no, you can't go, we're fighting for you. And I absolutely went. So I have this love for Kangen. It is my mission in life, and again, I adore your family and Jeffrey, and I did it because I couldn't bear to be not hanging out with you guys. So it was literally an 8-hour trip. So back to Perth and back to Margaret River, 8 hours.
You're
And
amazing.
I'm very worried. Kangaroos, fly tires going flat. I was worried about all of those things. And I was like, I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna make it.
And guys, listen, this lady doesn't drive slow, okay? If you are trying to play catch up with her behind, you better be a next Michael Schumacher or you know, Lewis Hamilton. She drives like, oh, amazing. Yeah, I still remember Jeffrey is driving my car, and he was like, wow, you know, trying to play catch up. Okay, so anyway, Uyen, first and foremost, thank you so much for willing to do this sharing session with all of us, to share your story. And the title of this story is so appropriate. In fact, Sam Sia, you remember once you were doing a talk in his show, right? I think a couple of weeks back. Yeah, and then when I showed him today's session, he was like, hey, how come I never thought of that brilliant introduction? You know, a confession of a skeptical physician. Because, you know, I know your story. I know about your husband, your late husband. Yeah. So tell us, Uyen, you know, you are a pharmacist, right? Are you still a practicing pharmacist, or what's going on now? Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. So you are a pharmacist, right?
The day I die. I will practice it until the day I die, yes.
Oh, awesome. Guys, if you have any pharmacist friend, okay, if you have anybody in the medical line or what, you may want to still text them, call them, make sure they listen, because this is going to come straight from a third party. It's going to come straight from the eyes of a pharmacist. So yeah, maybe start telling us about how your first encounter with Kangen is like, you know.
So I want to begin with saying that tonight's session is definitely about you know, the company Enagic, and the slogan is so beautiful. I can't get over it. The slogan of the company is change your water, change your life. And why I think it's so beautiful is if we get to experience this water, we live through that slogan and we go, how did they ever come up with such a beautiful slogan? And you know, it's so simple, but it's so true. When you experience this water, you are experiencing the best of health. You're going to get the best version of your health through this absolutely delicious, nutritious, and very environmentally friendly water, whereby its actual use is leaving no environmental footprint, no carbon footprint on the universe. My God, it's beautiful. And not just the fact that you will have the best version of your health naturally, you, because it's just using water, but also you actually have the time freedom with your family. I love that so much because I have 2 kids, and you know, I love the fact that I can just be with them a lot. I can watch them grow. Kids grow up so fast, ladies and gentlemen, and to be in this platform where you can have so much time with them instead of being, you know, instead of clocking in, clocking out, being stuck in traffic, doing the 9 to 5 or 9 to 7. I love that about this company. And I love that, you know, change your water, change your life. It's also about true health. True health is, it encompasses so many different things. We're talking about not only physical health, we're not talking about time freedom or financial freedom, because you've got the financial freedom and therefore you now have the time freedom. But it's also about, hey, what if we can actually have the best of health, have all the time freedom because we're not financially stressed anymore? And what if we can have a ripple effect, a domino effect of that to our neighbors, our friends, our loved ones, and even people across the world that we don't know? What if we could have that? If we could have that, we really truly are impacting the world, and people are okay. You are leaving them in a better state. They're going from position A to position B or Z because of you. And because of that, you truly feel peace of mind. And when you have peace of mind, you truly have true health, because now you have physical health, you have financial health, and now you have the peace of mind that everyone around you are okay. They're okay, they're safe. That is true peace of mind. And that is why this slogan, the slogan of the company, change your water, change your life, is so beautiful, because when you experience it, when you live it, you truly see how absolutely spot on that slogan is. So I'm going to then answer Gary's question. The question was, how did I come across this water? I have to breathe about that.
You want to drink some water?
About 6 years ago, my husband, he actually was diagnosed with a very aggressive cancer, and it was so incurable, and they gave him just 4 months to live. He actually lived for a whole year. I did everything I could as a pharmacist, juicing him, giving him the best antioxidants, detoxing him, you name it. But it was very rare, it was very aggressive. And 2 men during that time, they came and they prayed for us. They were very religious men. One is a pastor, another person is just so religious, and they came and they prayed for us, and they would bring, like a container of 4 liters of Kangen water, and separately they would tell me that this water would possibly cure his cancer. My gosh, at that point in time, I was so desperate and stressed. Do you think I can believe that something that is water, something that is tasteless, odorless, colorless, that something like that could possibly change this aggressive, rare cancer that the doctors didn't even know how to treat? Do you think I would believe them? Like, I'm going to look for a better doctor. I'm going to fly him to America. I flew him to Melbourne, where it's Peter Mac, and they're like a really, really well-known anti-cancer institution in the whole of the world. I flew him to those places. I looked for better doctors, better treatment. Of course, I'm not going to look into water. So in front of those two men, I gave my husband just one glass of that water. Behind their back, I threw the water away both times. And to look back, I just think, what a silly person I was. You don't know what you don't know. But because water comes out of a tap, how can you, like, you're born with water coming out of the tap. How can I be expected to know that this water, according to the American Anti-Cancer Institute, if you look up their website, out of the top 10 things to treat cancer, number one out of the top 10 things, Kangen water is the number one on that list. Now, do you think, when I look in retrospect and I think about what those men offered me, that do you think I would feel great about myself, or so foolish? And I think it'd be the latter. And I feel so silly in the way that I prayed to God. I said, God, you gave me the best specimen as a husband for me to live my life with. Please save him. And he sent two men. He sent two godly men to bring me this water. And one person said he recovered from prostate cancer drinking this. And I laughed in my head. I said, you're kidding, no way. And of course, in my head, I did that. And I just dismissed him. And the two of us, my husband and I, we decided to research about this water. Oh my God. We wanted to research about this water like everybody else who hears about it. They want to research about it. How sad is that? And so we don't know how much time we have on earth, ladies and gentlemen. We don't know how much time we have. So why do you want to research about something that the Japanese hospitals have been using since 1974 on millions of their patients? These patients, the millions of patients in the hundreds of Japanese hospitals, have been guinea pigs for us. All these years, they've been guinea pigs for us so that we can now enjoy this water safely and go, okay, there's going to be no surprises, no side effects, because it's been trialed, it's been drank in the Japanese hospitals for 46 years, ladies and gentlemen. Stop researching. All the humans' bodies have been experiencing this. And of course, Bill Gates himself drank it. We can prove that. We even know the man that sold it to him, Mariah Carey, Demi Moore, Robert, Carlos Santana, the list goes on, Steven Tyler. My gosh, all the top celebrities and the top athletes have been drinking this. Now, these cream of cream, these people, these top of the charts people, they only have the best nutritionists, the best doctors looking after their health. Do you think that they would actually just drink anything, or they consult these specialists, these nutritionists, these experts to tell them, is this water good for me? And if they're drinking it, stop researching. My goodness, you don't know how much time you have left. We didn't know we only had a year. Even though I was told that he would live for 4 months, I didn't believe them, because you just don't think it would happen to you. No one thinks that bad health or death would happen to them or their family. They just don't think that would be possible, because they're the star of their life. They're not going to die early. No star dies early. They die at the end. And so you don't know how much time you have left. Stop researching and just know that this water has been drank for 46 years by millions of people. So what surprises do you need to be really worried about? And the other thing is, of course, it's got so many studies now. I mean, I'm not going to go into that because it's outside the scope. But of course, if you look up electrolyzed reduced water, it's all over, and it's actually proven to be a free radical scavenger. That means it's an antioxidant. Electrolyzed reduced water is a free radical scavenger. That means it's an antioxidant. It's proven. And the thing is, Dr. Filter, the man that invented, Dr. Filter, that is the Harvard medical doctor, teaching Harvard medical doctors for over 30 years, he tells us that this water is actually something that, since he drank it, he's gone from 15 medications down to 3 medications. Why don't we believe the top brains of the world? Why do you want to research for 5 or 10 minutes and think somehow you could out-research these people? Bill Gates with his teams of experts, Dr. Filter, who has got resources and people at his fingertips, he can point to them and go, tell me, research about this, tell me more about this. Why do you think you can out-research these experts, the doctors, the top doctors of the world? Professor Shinya, the man that invented the colonoscopy, he is the person that for over 40 years has been treating presidents, prime ministers, movie stars, musicians, and he has been treating the royal family of the Japanese. He says on page 159 of his best-selling book, the book that he tells us is the secret to staying young and to be healthy. But part of the book, page 159, he tells us this water is incomparable in terms of hydration, in terms of detoxification, getting rid of the poisons out of the body. That's detoxification. And getting rid, and it's incomparable. The water is incomparable in terms of antioxidation, which is anti-aging, which is anti-degeneration of the body. Why do you think you can out-research these people? What makes you think the 10 or 30 minutes that you spend, or the few hours that you spend, that you can out-research these professionals? And on that back of the page of the book, it's called The Enzyme Factor. On the very back of the book, this is a book that is his top secret about how to stay healthy. It's not about Kangen water, but on the back of that book, on the very top line, he chooses to write one thing. Now, get this, it's his secret sauce, the way to stay healthy. He didn't write about the water, but he puts the water on the top line on the back of the book. And it says, drinking Kangen water can cure obesity. Cure obesity. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not making claims. We are just restating what the experts are telling us. No medical claims here. And so how many people do you know in your life that want to lose some weight or are desperate to lose some weight for the sake of their health? How many people? So why do you think that you need to research when all these big top brains have done the researching for you? So getting back to my story, where was I? So, yes.
Before that, so you said you and your husband researched on it. So after researching it, didn't it convince you to try? No, or it was all the negative research that came out? What happened?
Okay, you know when people say they research, they don't.
Okay.
Because you don't think that water is going to be the main player in something that is so rare and aggressive. Come on. So when people tell you they're going to research, they don't research. They just go, that's just another way of saying, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, I don't believe you.
I didn't research at all. Yeah. And my husband looked into it and he made some kind of remark, and I thought, I'm just pursuing a really good doctor for you, pursuing good treatments for you, because in the pharmacy school, they teach you only mainstream.
Right.
They give you a disease and then they show you how to treat it with a drug. Disease, drug, disease, drug. They don't tell you a lot about non-pharmacological natural things. They do teach you quite like a little bit about naturopathic vitamins, but not water. They teach you just purified water, distilled water, but reverse osmosis, but not ever electrolyzed reduced water. So if your doctors say to you, I'm not going to, like, if they challenge you, ask them, I'm going to ask you, how much do you know about this water? And then ask them some questions. I promise you, they have no idea. And so they don't know how the water works to help in the body. And I'm trying to be very careful not to actually give claims publicly. So when your doctors tell yourself or tell other people, oh, better not, it's because they have no idea. I promise. So don't think that because they say, oh, better not, then you listen to them. And often they'll just do a very quick Google search in their computer while they're talking to you, and they'll see, oh, alkaline water is not good. Remember, alkaline water is water done artificially alkaline. Water that is made artificially alkaline with, say, sodium bicarbonate, calcium, or magnesium. And so they're made artificially. And so what happens is when they go into the body, yes, they can build up. And when they build up, they can actually cause blood imbalance in terms of pH. But Kangen water, because the alkalinity is from the OH minus, that OH minus will never accumulate in the body, never. Because what happens is if that OH is not used, not that it's not going to be used, because we are flooded with acid in our body. Our body is drowning in acid. And why do I say that? Because more than 80% of our food is acidic. Barring vegetables, your meat, your fish, your prawns, they're all acidic. And of course, carbohydrates like rice, bread, pasta, they're all acidic. And worst of all, your body creates a lot of wastes, and those wastes are actually acidic as well, like carbon dioxide, acetic acid, ammonia, urea. So really, you are drowned in acid, ladies and gentlemen. You need to have something to fight back that acid. And what are you going to do to fight back vegetables? Really? How much vegetables can you eat? According to Dr. Filter, the Harvard medical doctor, he says you can't eat vegetables and fruits in a day to exceed the amount of antioxidants or even the acidity in the body. So the bottom line is you can't have too much of this Kangen water, and because you are drowning, you're drowning, your body is drowning in acid. So the thing is, even if you could be having too much of the alkalinity part, even if you could, that's not even possible, but even if you could, the OH minus, when it doesn't get used, will actually go to form or combine with more oxygen and more hydrogen to become oxygen and water. That's the end story. You can never overaccumulate on Kangen water. You can never. And so what is so good about oxygen and hydrogen? Start again, oxygen and water. Well, you need oxygen to burn food for energy. You know, when you have enough oxygen, you think better, you have less brain fog. And the water is so important because the role of water is to actually nourish the cells, bring all the nourishment into the cells, and to actually remove toxins out of the cells. And so if you have Kangen water, if it did go into excess, it will turn into oxygen and water. So what? That's so safe, and you need that. So you are actually doing your body so much good by drinking a lot of this. You can never overaccumulate in alkalinity when you drink Kangen water versus the artificially created alkaline water on the market. I think I'm getting a bit sidetracked, but because this is my life mission, and I know as in my pharmacy background, everyone is expecting some, science, some chemistry, some medical sort of side to this water. So I'm not going to go and drill too much into my personal stuff, but I'm sure a lot of you are waiting to share this with your health professionals. And so they can never say to you, oh, alkaline water is bad, or, you can overaccumulate. They're talking about the wrong thing. They're talking about artificially made alkaline water. And so when they say that to you, it's because they haven't researched. They don't know what they're saying. So please tell them, please go back and research again. Look harder, because you're actually not very well informed about this, and I can prove it to you. Two men introduced the water to us. We dismissed them. And I wish that day that those two men had shown me the demo, or at least maybe show me Dr. Shinyu's, the enzyme factor book, or maybe show me, the American Anti-Cancer Institute, what they tell you about their recommendation for cancer. I wish they showed me that. I would have instantly bought the machine yesterday, not that day, yesterday. But God, I think I wouldn't be in this path today though if, if things worked out. I don't know. So the thing I want to go forth with is a lot of people call this water marshmallow water. Marshmallow water. Don't you love that? It's so soft in your mouth. Why? Because the moment it enters your mouth, the moment it hits your cells is the moment it absolutely absorbs. It absorbs instantly. So therefore, there's no resistance. Regular water resists. There's a sense of resistance when you drink regular water because it's too large to actually absorb into the cells. However, Kangen water is super hydrating, super tiny, and restructured for best absorption. So therefore, when you actually drink this water, it's super light, super soft, and like marshmallow in your mouth. But there's no taste. It's tasteless. It's actually delicious. It's tasteless, but it's so refreshing. So people say marshmallow. Does that mean it tastes sweet? No, it's just beautiful. And so the water is that way because it is so well. It's so well engineered. And by the way, this water is natural because we are really imitating the best water of the world. We're imitating the best water of the world because let's talk about how the water came about. Well, about around the 1950s, the Japanese scientists, the Russian scientists, they got together and they actually studied water like the ones from Lourdes in France, where those water were very healing on the human body. And of course, it actually helped people, live longer, so increased their lifespan. And so they thought, what if we can actually bottle this somehow or have it in our home? So then they actually, worked on it. And by 1974, the Japanese came up with the Enagic Level Up Kangen water machine. And so now, instead of us having to line up in, France, in Lourdes, in France, and get this amazing healing water that people find healing, no claiming, disclaimer, no medical claim, but when people drink this water, because the water would give them the best condition, the optimal conditions in their body for healing, that's why these people from Lourdes would actually heal and live longer. So the Japanese scientists are now able to bottle it, if you like, or they now are able to actually design an advanced technology that you can have in your home, that you can actually now have water akin to, similar to, imitating the best healing water of the world, like the ones that you find in Lourdes in France, where they call them holy water, or the ones that you find in the glaciers. And how do we know that the water is very akin to those water? Well, do you know when they actually study those water, they find that the water in the glaciers, in these, holy sites, those water are rich in antioxidants. Those water are rich in alkalinity, and those water are super tiny, and very, very beautifully structured for best absorption. And so the structure is like a hexagonal shape. And because it's a hexagonal shape, that kind of water just naturally slips through your cells. And that's why when you taste the water, it's super light, it's super soft, it's marshmallow water. Gary, I might let you ask some questions in case I'm missing what you wanted me to cover tonight.
Right. So, Win, yeah. So, coming again, going back to the picture for that the two people. So they didn't show you the demo. They just told you that what the water has done for them, and therefore you were kind of skeptical, right, about that water. And you didn't like, so what actually got you out of the skepticism? Okay, so round two, tell us about round two. How then, from a very skeptical pharmacist, that you think, I mean, just like everybody else, I was asking Dr. Michaels that day, I said, everybody looked at all the advanced technology, the advanced medicine, the advanced whatever you have it, but nobody thought that something as simple, as basic as just water can do such a profound effect in people's health. So how did you get from such skepticism to now the I will call you like the most the advocate of Kangen water today. What made the difference?
Well, after I lost my husband, I started to think, okay, I really want to work on my mom and dad. How do I give my mom and dad longevity? How can I give my mom and dad longevity? And I thought about all the different vitamins that were at my disposal and all the medications. And of course, medications cause a lot of side effects. And with the side effects, you can also have more drugs added on to block out the side effects. So medicines, of course they have their place, but I didn't want to go in that direction. And my mum and dad are not on medications at all. They're close to 80 years old and they're not on medications, praise God. And so I said to myself, I want my mum and dad to live longer. But the thing is, if you look at vitamins, they're very organ specific. That means they actually work on specific areas of the body. So say, vitamin E is good for the cardiovascular system, but it doesn't, there's not any vitamin that works on the whole body to actually now give you the best version of your health. And so I thought maybe water, look, I mean, my whole team tells me that God tells them to buy this water, like literally like a lot of my team members. And so maybe God was just like knocking on my door again. When you didn't believe it the first time, I'm banging on your door again. And so a pharmacist friend of mine, she came to me to my pharmacy while I was working. She's like, oh, I've got this amazing water. And I said, oh, by the way, just before that, I was thinking, okay, I thought to myself, maybe I will think about this water because my mum and dad don't have any medications. They're not on any medications. So I'm thinking I might get them on this water. If anything, it's just going to be an investment on their health. So then I actually thought, let's get this water. And I was very busy back then. So I asked my sister to find someone that actually sells this water and let's find out how to get it. So I will say this, and underline it, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes when back then they may not be ready, but 3 years later, they may be ready and they don't know how to find you. So you should look people up and see if maybe they've changed their mind because, like now in the past, when you ask, oh, do you know what Kangen water is? People will say no. Now, when I say, do you know what Kangen water is? They'll say, oh yeah, my next door neighbor drinks it. Oh, my best friend, she's been drinking it for 15 years. So it's like that now. So now it's not going to be a case of, does it work? But it's more a case of, oh, yeah, I think it's really good because lots of people around me are drinking it. So how do I get this water? It's more that case now. And so basically the pharmacist friend came and said, oh, this is water. And who introduced it to her? Another pharmacist that is a mutual friend of ours. So I trust them because we're all mutual friends. And then the girl that introduced it to that girl has a sister who's a pharmacist as well. And it was her that stumbled on the water. And she actually found out because she was in the cancer wards in England and she just got fed up with seeing so many people dying before her, and she thought, well, how do I turn this around? So she did a lot of research and she found this water, and so she told her little sister, the little sister told the pharmacist friend, and then that pharmacist friend told me. So we're all mutual friends. So for me, it wasn't like, oh, should I trust them? We've been friends for 20 something years. And so, but that pharmacist friend who is 20 years, my friend, made 5 appointments with me. And even though I was so ready to buy the water, I still did not go to the appointments because I didn't know it was my life priority. I just knew it's good, but I didn't know how good it was. I'm still thinking filtered water, like really good filtered water. That's all I'm thinking. And so it took her 5 appointments. And at that point, the 5th appointment, I thought, if I don't keep this appointment, I'm so sure she's going to disown me. She won't be my friend anymore. So I went to the presentation, and at that time the other pharmacist friend that introduced it to her, she did the demo, and she did a very, very not very good demo because she was quite new. But for me, I saw enough to see, okay, it's different. There's a distinction, a clear distinction between regular water and this one. And she showed me all the toxins, all the poisons that could be bombarding us, every day. And I said, that's it. I want to have something to fight back. That's all I could think of. I want to have something to fight back. And so now we have Kangen water to fight back. Praise God. And so the thing is, I didn't understand that much what she did because she was new. Back then, she didn't do a great demo, but the thing was, I just thought to myself, well, I'm going to invest in my health. It's time to change your filter, because filters need to be changed every few years anyway. And so I thought, I'm just going to buy it. When I bought that, little did I know, wow, all the life-changing things happened to my life. And so what I mean is that because my children and we suffer from the cold every 3 weeks. This is what we go through. Like, I don't know why our immune system is so bad. And so every 3 weeks we would get the cold, and we don't have just regular colds. We would have about 7 medications every time we have the cold. And because I knew so much, I used a lot, bronchodilators. I would use, whether it be orally or by puffer, or I would use cough medicines, decongestants, antihistamines to dry up the nose. I would use antibiotics, because my kids, when they have a cough, it's not going to go away with a regular thing. Regular cold and flu medications, they absolutely just need the antibiotic. Their body just can't fend for themselves. So I would add antibiotics, and usually something like that, I would have to add a lot of immune boosters. And all of that would cost us easily $60, $70. Like, if I didn't get a cost price, $100 easily $100 if I didn't get a cost price from my pharmacy. So just thinking about, like, my kids and I still pinch ourselves that we don't get the cold anymore. For the last 3.5 years, I've been drinking this water. We don't get the cold anymore. We still are so blown over that we don't get the cold anymore. My God, it's like seriously lifting cancer out of your life. That's how we feel. Like, my God, can you imagine every 3 weeks being stuck with blocked nose, runny nose, maybe coughing until you vomit, and then you're just so unwell, and then it happens again every 3 weeks, right? And so now it's like cancer's lifted, like, praise God. And so that's just changing our water. We were drinking reverse osmosis. Reverse osmosis is the most pure water that you can think of. That's why I thought to myself, those men can't sell me anything, because I'm already drinking the purest form of water, reverse osmosis. And now we know the World Health Organization tells us that we are not to drink it. It's actually unhealthy for us. And many other authorities are telling us not to drink reverse osmosis. And so, so the cold and flu aside, like, that's already winning lotto. Like, you have no idea how life-changing that is for me. Like, never do I have to worry about that nightmare in my life anymore. Because when you're sick, you can't work. You just, all you think about is, how do I get over this sickness? And then the other thing is, my little girl, she has sleepwalking. And I know people might say, oh, could it be that it's coinciding with the fact that they just disappear? Let me tell you, all the things that I'm about to share with you, they all walk back into our lives when we don't have this water. So I know, and disclaimer, not making medical claims, but I know my personal experience is that when we don't drink this water, those things walk back into our lives. Case in point, so she gets sleepwalking if she doesn't drink this water. Why? Our brain is 80% water. If you put in the correct water, it will function flawlessly. And your brain, its function is to regulate sleep. So my daughter gets sleepwalking, but it's not the normal type. It's night terror. So you get very terrified. You scream, and you could scream for 15 minutes and you'll lose your voice the next day, and you have no recollection of it the next day. And so actually, Jeffrey and Gary, when you came to visit me, remember we came as a big group. So I brought along Kangen water, and I brought like probably 30 liters along, but we are the best drinkers of the world. We're the champions, right? So we didn't have enough. And I remember I gave more to you guys than I left for myself. So I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so worried for my daughter. And that night, the second night, I actually blocked my hotel room door. I blocked it with 2 chairs and then put chairs on top of it just in case, right? And
Wow.
I thought, nah, a sleepwalker will never know how to like undo these chairs. So anyway, I did that. But luckily that night at 2 a.m., I was still watching the free movie because we had the top class room. So we had free movie in our room, and I was still watching, and I heard the chairs shuffle, and I thought, oh God, no. So I came out, and sure enough, she was there shuffling the chairs, moving the chairs out so she could leave the room. My God. So I didn't want you guys to feel bad, so I didn't say anything the next day. But I thought, oh my God, I'm so glad that I am still awake to stop her. And so she was actually moving it in order to get out of the room. I don't know why the first thing that these night terror, sufferers do is they just head straight for the door. And so she was just trying to get out of the door, and I held her back. And thank God, because that door, why did I have to leave chairs in front of that door? That door is the kind of door you can open from the inside, no problems. If you lock it, you can still open from the inside. I checked before I went to sleep. I checked because this is what happens it's happened before once in Hong Kong when I didn't bring my water as well. That was early on in my journey. So I knew she did leave that room in Hong Kong that time. Luckily, we were with my parents and they heard her scream. And anyway, that's a long story. But anyway, what I'm saying is that she actually was leaving the room, and I knew that she could leave that room because that lock was not the kind that you can open. Anyway, so that the water has wiped away that problem. My God, do you know how many nights I would sit and pray to God, God, lift this from my daughter. God, lift this from my daughter. And there was just I didn't hear any answer. But this water came along. This one thing came along, and it got rid of my cold and flu, got rid of my daughter's night terror. And then my son, he has this really awful skin issue. It's incurable. It's so rare. There's no treatment for it. Pityriasis is called Pityriasis rubra pilaris. And the thing is, there's no cure. It's so bad. You can get deep cracks, and it bleeds and it peels, and it's so painful, and it's so red. The hands and the feet get so red. And the thing is, when he was in kindergarten, I remember distinctly, he would come home and he would say, Mum, my friends, they wouldn't hold my hand because they think that they can catch it from me. As a mother, can you imagine a pharmacist where people come up to me and say, you have taken away so many things that my doctors can't cure for me, can't take away for me, and you've done it. Like, you hear it over and over. You get this big head swell, and yet you can't fix this for your son. And so guess what? This water came along and it's gone. No medical claims here, but it's gone. That's my personal experience. And so can you imagine, night after night, I'm just removing his fissures, the things that crack and bleed. And I just say, God, he's too young to have to put up with this for the rest of his life. God. And of course I heard nothing. But then came one fine day, this water came into my life. Can you imagine how much I feel like I've won lottery so many times over with this water. The things I prayed for, God didn't answer me straight away, but he sent one thing into my life and it removed those things that were a nightmare for me. And of course, my son and I would suffer from hay fever, and the hay fever, it would be just like runny nose all the time, sneezing all the time. Everyone would know in my family when my son and I are awake, we just sneeze, and we have runny nose, itchy eyes until we bleed because we forget to take medications. And so now we don't get that anymore. Like, how wonderful to never have to worry about that silly thing where there's tissues everywhere and it just drips down your nose and you have to run for a tissue, and no more itchy eyes where you bleed from scratching. That's removed from my life. My God, that's why, Gary, you say, why am I such a big advocate? Because if he can do this for me, what if I can change the world by actually helping them experience the same benefits as me? And I have arthritis in my hand, and that arthritis really depressed me because, you know, arthritis is something that you can't get rid of. It only just worsens over time, and it just can cause deformities. And I'm such a perfectionist that I just hated knowing that I have arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, which is arthritis of the young people. In the young, and so I was just really saddened by it, didn't want to think about it. And then this water came along, and now the pain is gone, this tenderness is gone. And you know, my son and I, we would have acid reflux, and I would say to God, God, if I don't get this acid reflux removed from me, because I don't always remember my medications, I'm probably going to get cancer or something, because it keeps rising and it's going to cause so much inflammation. There's going to be such abnormal cell growth, and you know, that's the next thing. The C word is the next thing. I don't want to say it because our words are powerful. And so then, you know, I'm thinking, okay, one thing that came into my life lifted all these things that are incurable, like medicine has surrendered to, science has surrendered to, and yet these things are removed from my life just by one thing that walked into my life. How come, you know, 6 years ago, I didn't have that revelation? And now I think to myself, oh my God, how did I ever live life before this water? And of course, you know, the machine makes 7 types of water. It makes beauty water to make me more youthful. And of course, that's really good for ironing. It cuts down your ironing time. And it's so good on, you know, mirrors and glass, so that there's no streaks when you clean them. There's like 1,000 uses for that beauty water. And then, of course, there's the degreasing water to remove pesticides from my vegetables and fruits to make it so organic. And then there's also the water that is acid water, which according to the Harvard medical doctor, it actually can kill all known bacteria and viruses. Dr. Filter, in his laboratory tests, have shown that it kills all known bacteria and viruses. And so how wonderful is that? When my daughter has an eye infection, I don't reach for antibiotics, because remember, antibiotics usually take within 3 days to work. This water works on the day. My God. And I just go to my sink and I get it just straight out of my sink. It's my own family doctor all rolled in one, and my pharmacist and my pharmacy all rolled in one. And so when she has that eye infection and she can't open her eye, Mom, it's so painful. I just put it on, and then you put a patch on to stop her from being irritated. And on that day, the actual sty, the swelling, the actual pain, the redness disappears. My goodness, antibiotics take within 3 days. This works on the day. And by the way, antibiotics, if you actually research, you'll know that the effects of antibiotics can actually last 3 years. You will take on average 3 years to recover from one course of antibiotics in your body in terms of the good bacteria. And now I don't have to reach for that, because I can save my daughter from that, just because I have this one machine that just costed nothing for all the benefits that I've received. And so then if she has like a toenail infection, one time she was limping and she couldn't walk, and she's like, Mom, I'm in so much pain. And I'm thinking, oh gosh, like ingrown toenail type of infection, you need oral antibiotics. And I'm like, I'm going to give this water a go again. And I sprayed it on, swear, on that day, 4 times that day. She was not limping. The next day, she didn't need it anymore. But I gave her an extra dose just in case it reared its head. So, wow, one machine makes 7 types of water with so many uses, removing pesticides, now boosting your immunity with the drinking water, so that, you know, you just have the best version of your health. And then you have the beauty water that is like, you know, it makes your plants grow 6 times faster if you put them onto your herbs. It has so many uses. It beautifies you. It actually makes you pretty. And it actually is something where you can halve your ironing time. I mean, there's so many uses. And of course, the 2.5 acid water, it is actually hypochlorous acid, and that is actually FDA grade. And when you have a sore throat, the first sign of a sore throat, you gargle it, and because it kills bacteria in half a minute, it can actually get rid of your sore throat within a minute. How do I know this? Well, when I went to KL to be one of the speakers for the event, I actually didn't have fresh Kangen water. So the key is, if you have fresh Kangen water, it's so going to be so powerful as an immune booster. But I didn't have fresh Kangen water. I stayed up late to take care of my whole team that came, and I had, I had to shower in the hotel water because, of course, the company makes a fantastic, one of a kind shower unit that I have in my home, which takes away all the toxins. It nourishes my whole body with the minerals in it, and it is super absorbing. So because I was away from all of that, I got my first cold during that time. And then what happened was, I thought, oh no, if I have to stand in front of the crowd and have this coughing that used to haunt me years ago, I'm going to be so embarrassed. So I actually did the 2.5. I gargled for about a minute. I swallowed slowly. And that obviously goes down and actually then works on the entire throat area and all the way down. And I did that, and within a minute, my sore throat went away. Seriously, try it. And no medical claim here, just expressing my experience, because we have to be politically correct on the internet world. And so try that. Or people who have ulcers, they actually rinse their mouth with this 2.5 water, and they find that it dulls the pain straight away. It dulls it straight away, and the healing is so much faster. And if you have eczema, you put it on, and it actually, in the Japanese hospitals, they've done documentaries to actually show that eczematous skin, which is itchiness, bleeding, and redness, itchy, basically peeling skin, goes away within 3 months from just drinking this water. But those serious cases, they put in the pH 2.5 water, and it goes away within 3 months. No medical claims, just experience only. So the 2.5, if someone has an insect bite, you put it on and it dulls the pain and it heals so quickly. It dulls the itch, it dulls the pain, it heals so quickly. If you have bleeding anywhere, the hypochlorous is proven to actually stop bleeding. And I'm sure a lot of people have so many experiences about this to share, about the stopping of bleeding. Gary has a wonderful story himself about his friend. And so the hypochlorous acid is really good in stopping bleeding, and it's also very, very good in sanitizing. Hey, everyone is paying so much money for sanitizers, and the thing is, we have it in our home. When COVID was around, and we had all these people lining up at my pharmacy praying that I would have stock for sanitizers. They didn't have a Kangen machine, and they walked away. And of course, we told them about the machine, but many of them would walk away because not all people can afford a machine. They would walk away thinking, oh my goodness, my family's safety. I mean, stocks of sanitizers in Australia were wiped out for so many months. And we have that luxury in our home of having sanitizers at our beck and call and in unlimited amounts. I love this water. And, I don't know how I ever lived my life before this water. And so, Gary, have I missed a question?
No, it's not missing the questions. In fact, you have given a lot of information. I just want to add a few things on what Win has mentioned just now. Just to add on to what she said, guys, the key lesson, okay, that what Win was trying to tell you just now is, if you have a few people that have told you no at the beginning, it doesn't mean no forever. Can you imagine the same person, Win, 6 years ago, will not even believe this water, don't even care one single bit about this water, and thought that that 2% that came was nuts, crazy, out of this world. Today, she is the advocate of this water. So what it simply means, people go through different phases of their lives, okay? Things change, people change, okay? So you need to know that people go through these type of processes. So what you want to do is very regularly, off and on, just check in back with them, just keep in touch with them, send them more messages, information, until, like I like what lately I've been following Grant Cardone. Stalk them until they stalk you. But it's not stalking if it works, right? So what I'm trying to say is, Win has shared something that was very good. And Win, thank you so much for those information that you shared just now. Okay, now Win, so from being an advocate of the water, now the second round that you got so excited, when did you suddenly wanted to like seriously get involved in the business, and what made you decided to get involved with the business after knowing the wonders of the water?
Well, everyone's going in the wrong direction. They're drinking the wrong water. Their water is too acidic. It's acid is your poison. Your body is most healthy alkaline. If it's not alkaline, if it shifts into the acidic state, you die. So, acid is your body's poison. Why are we not stopping our people from drinking the wrong water? If you're on a freeway and a guy is going in the wrong direction, do you do something to stop that guy, or do you go, oh, bye, so long, good luck? Do you do that, or you just do something? You do something to make sure they're going in the right direction as you. So when I actually, what the thing is, when the people that actually sold me the machine, because they were so new, I wish they told me what to expect when you drink this water, because it took me about 6 months to go, aha, you mean that's because of the water? You mean no more colds and flu was the water? You mean my arthritis? You mean my girl's sleepwalking, my son's skin condition, our acid reflux, our hay fever? You mean my youthfulness? You mean that's the water? They don't tell you. So I want to stress to you, you've got to tell your people when you share water with them, or even when you sell them a machine, tell them what to look for. Like, more energy, losing weight, dropping off on medications, or, all of the things I pointed out. Ask them, or let them know this is what to watch out for, because they didn't tell me. It took me probably about 6 months to go, oh, you mean it's the water? And so when I realized that, I thought, oh, I better tell the world, because if you have something good, you can't not share it. Why do you want to keep it a secret when something is so good? Why do you want to keep a secret from people about something so good? My gosh, there's enough for everyone. And if people somehow, like, say, for example, if you get a mother well, if you could give them this wonderful opportunity to experience this water, if you can get a mother well, that mother go on to keep her family, her children, her husband so healthy, so happy. They all actually now become real beneficial members of society. Society as a whole will benefit. You don't know what you can actually impact by actually making a mother well, that she doesn't have arthritis anymore, or mental illness. Do you know that a lot of mental illness or a lot of mental issues can actually be lessened by just hydrating your brain? Your brain is more than 80% water. If you just hydrate your brain, you're going to have a lot of good outcomes for mental issues. I have a lot of people in my team who were, on antidepressants, or on, a lot of anti-anxiety tablets. They're not on them anymore. No medical claims here again, just experiences. So the thing is, because your brain is made of 80% water, if you just hydrate it properly, the brain will not tap on the feel-good hormones like your serotonin. Because it's so dehydrated, it taps on them, and now you get depleted of them, and then you feel really, really bad, and you feel more anxious because you are now using the stuff that is supposed to be causing or bringing about balance in your brain. You're tapping on them, and now they're depleted because you have no water in there. The body's got to turn to something to stay alive. So you've got to just tell your people, your people who are telling you they're depressed or they're anxious, tell them to have more water. Drink the right kind of water, not just any water. Kangen water. Drink the right kind of water. Not any water can help them. The right kind of water. Water that is rich in antioxidants, rich in alkalinity, and is super tiny for best absorption and restructured for best absorption. That's the water that you want. And so the thing is, if you can just reach out to those people, think of how many people you can actually now save in terms of their suffering. Why don't you make it a mission to actually fight for them? So for me, I'm fighting for people around me. I know people don't believe, and then, you know, they give you maybe like a cold shoulder, but you know, at the end of the day, I fight for them. I don't care, because I was in that position. And those two men, I really regret that they didn't fight for me. They didn't fight for me. They just thought, well, she's going to research about it. Oh, well. But they weren't actually selling the water at all. They don't even know what the business is all about. So that's why they just thought, well, I'll just, you know, I'll just let her decide. And so fight for your people. And Gary, back to your questions.
Yeah, Win. So you talked about fighting for them, right? So what do you think as a pharmacist, is it an advantage for you to do this business, or what do you think? Do you think it's an advantage for a person like you as a pharmacist to do Kangen?
It is a small advantage.
Okay.
It is an advantage, I have to say. I have a lot of people who will say to me, oh, I've got this prospect. He has no no belief in this water, and he throws so many questions at me, and I don't know how to answer them. Sometimes I do feel bad for people who are not in a team with some kind of medical background, so that they can answer any questions, literally any questions. And if I don't know, it's not that often, but about this water, that is, if I didn't know, I have a very good and easy way of finding out. Like I have a very, like it's easier for me to find out because I have the resources. That's why I tell you, you know, the top doctors, they've got the best resources. They know how to get their information. You can't out-research them. So stop thinking your 5 or 10 minutes or half an hour is going to somehow out-research these, you know, hospitals in Japan and these top doctors of the world. Just don't think about research them.
Awesome, awesome, amazing. Okay, Win, I know that from the time that you started until now, there has been a lot of very interesting stories. Like I remember you told me something like there are a lot of signs, like divine signs, like God is pointing to that direction. And now I know you have leaders like Pastor Madeline that is on board with you, you know, and having all these signs. Are you able to share with all of us, because those stories are very relevant, you know? Very good, yeah.
Okay, well, how much time do we have? Because I have so many people in my team and
Yeah.
that tell me about the signs. And then the thing is, you know, I know that this is my destiny. And so when I hear them say those things, I actually feel more reassured that this is my walk, my destiny. But let me quickly grab something to show you guys as a proof, right? Just 1 second. Let me just grab something.
Guys, if you don't have a pen and paper, I strongly encourage you to have one, because sometimes some things that the speakers share, even if you take 1% down, it may change your business, it may change your life. Okay, over to you, In.
Okay, well, one of the things is that there was a lady in my team, when she first bought the water, she said, you know, 7 years ago, I had a vision. She's very, very godly. 7 years ago, I had a vision, and the vision was a person opening up her mouth, and it formed the letter K. It formed the letter K. And water was pouring into the mouth. And she said, you know, I didn't understand what the letter K was, and this water just flowing into the person's mouth. And so now that I've bought the machine, I understand that God was telling me about this. And so she was so moved by it. And she actually somehow in her actual vision got a word, the living water. And so she actually then painted it. She put it on a canvas. And she actually then gave it to me. Now, from the start of my journey, I've always called my team the living water. When I first, reconnected with Pastor Madeline, she invited me to her church, and her church was called The Living Water as well. And I'm thinking, you've got to be kidding, because is she doing this to please me? Because she's invited me to the church, and I've called my group The Living Water. So, and I told her about Kangen, so she joined me. So I thought maybe she was impressing me or something. Of course, maybe I have such a big head. I think the universe sort of evolves around me. But then, so that person, Rachel, she did this. Did this canvas, and it says living water, the letter K. And she did this before she met me. Before she met me, she did this. And so she actually then gave it to me. Can you see the letter K and that, like the mouth? And in that vision, she saw water pouring into that mouth. And so she gave it to me to say, Win, wow, you know. And so the thing is that when we first shared the water with another lady in Pastor Madeline's church, she volunteers and does the cleaning for the church. And when we did the demo, it fell flat. Like, she didn't have any reaction. And we thought, okay. Anyway, she's so sweet and so gorgeous. We just left it. 6 months later, she then texts Pastor Madeline and says, God told me to buy the Kangen water. And we're like, wow, we never chased up on her because, you know, she's so godly. She's cleaning the toilet for free. We're not going to, you know, like pester her. But she texted us and said, God told me to buy this water. We're like, okay. Then there's another couple in Sydney. She actually is an accountant, and the husband is a doctor. They've been told to erect churches in their hometown. And then she says that her husband, you know, had cancer, and basically then she got the word from God to buy this water. We didn't even do the demo. She said, I don't know much about this water, but I've been told by God to buy this water. And then what happened was I actually had a prophecy by a prophet, and he is Prophet Kieran. He's supposed to be 95% correct or accurate, and he actually is so accurate that he's been invited by prime ministers of India to prophesy over them. So he's been invited by not one but two prime ministers of India, and so he's that kind of guy. And then I was so keen to hear a prophecy, so I walked up and I just started to say, oh, how do you hear from God? And he didn't even care about what I had to say. And he put his hand over me. He said, daughter, I will go before you and I will clear the way for you. You will build ministries and temples for me, and you will have wells of wealth, wells of wealth. And then so after Rachel, the one that gave me this one, heard that testimony, because I recorded it, she heard that testimony, the one that did this canvas, she said to me, did you notice wells of wealth? That's to do with water. And I thought, oh, okay. And then anyway, another prophet just recently told me the same thing. And I thought, wow, how come they've never met in their life and they said the same words? Wow. And so I know my destiny is this. And the thing is, there's another lady, because you know your destiny, but you want to be encouraged, right? So there's another lady, when she came into my demo, she said, when I came into your demo, I saw a halo on your head, and I know you're anointed, and I know I have to buy this water from you because God told me to buy it. And then she fell out of the business for a short time, and then she rings me up one time and she says, Win, the Holy Spirit told me to go back to do this business. And straight after that, she made 2 K8 sales. And so there's just so many people that just come to me and say, God told me to buy this water. I mean, I could go on all night. And so, yeah, I have been reassured. And every time I hear it, I go, yes, I'm walking in the right direction.
Amazing, Win. Amazing, amazing. I'm sure you got a lot more stories that you can share with us in the future. and one thing that I'm very blessed is, Win, knowing you and your dedication to the business and your team. Now hearing from some of your team leaders that your group is growing, not just only in Australia, but all over the world. I'm so excited, ready to rock this empire with you. So, okay, right now we are at coming to 9:30 already. So, Jeffrey, are there any questions from the floor to Win? as of now?
Yes. First of all, a big shout out to you, Win. Learned so much things from you today. All right, come on, you need to set me up to meet the prophet as well. Okay. All right. Just to update for the participant on the floor right now, 142 people. I will only be giving Win the questions for the people that are participating 100% with your video on. All right. So for the first question we have is from Laksha Sudaha. Okay. Can you please explain the science of what actually alkaline water does? Over to you, Win.
Oh,
Of what exactly alkaline water, or just what Kangen water does? Alkaline or just what? I think maybe just do Kangen, okay? Do Kangen,
yes,
not just.
All right.
Kangen. Kangen will be
Okay,
good.
so why Kangen water? A lot of speakers have come on and they've not said this, and I want to share this with everyone because I don't want you to be in the dark anymore. I want you to be able to succeed in changing lives. And so I'm going to share this with you because no speaker has, as far as I know, have ever told you why the water is an antioxidant. So the water is an antioxidant because of the OH minus. The minus is the free electrons. And the free electrons are the things that will actually cancel, neutralize the things that are so poisonous to the body, the free radicals. The free radicals are like vampires in the body. They go around and they actually steal electrons from your cells, every part, whether it be your heart, your brain, your lungs. They're stealing electrons everywhere. And so where do you get the free radicals from? Even from digestion, you have free radicals. Even from pollution, chemicals around you that you can smell, the radiation from your phone, your TV, that's the free radicals. We're actually being bombarded by about 10,000 free radicals every day. And they're like vampires. They're missing an electron and they're going around and stealing an electron from your body. And when they steal the electron, they will cause injury to that site because that site, that atom is actually now devoid or missing an electron. So it's like this free radical going in is actually doing that damage. So the thing is, do you know that when you drink tap water, filtered water, reverse osmosis, whatever regular water you're drinking, do you know that when you test the ORP machine, that ORP machine, when it shows that plus, when it shows the plus, it means that that is the magnitude of how much free electrons, start again. That is showing the magnitude of how many free radicals are able to go into your body and actually steal the free electrons from your body, causing like holes everywhere. And so now you're getting holes everywhere. Every time you drink regular water, you're having holes everywhere created in the body, and you didn't know that. So what I'm saying to you is stop drinking anything that is your regular water that is damaging your body with every drop. Stop. And so that's why I'm a big advocate, because you're going the wrong direction. You're going in the wrong direction. And so what happens is now the free radicals are so damaging, right? They're causing holes everywhere. What if you can now have an external source going in and it's water, it's just water, and it's filled with free electrons. The free electrons are what these free radicals are looking for. They're like vampires looking for blood, right? They're looking for free electrons. The free radicals are looking for free electrons. And now, instead of your body having to sacrifice itself, now an external source, being water, is able to go in and actually fill up those holes, because now you've got a lot of free electrons. It's filling up all those holes that is making the body so damaged. Wow, it's just water. Wow. And so now that is where the actual antioxidant comes from in the water. It's because water, being H2O, is going into the machine, and the machine is actually now applying so much power to the water that the water dissociates. When it dissociates, it produces a lot of OH minus. That minus is the free electron. That's the hero. That's the hero of your water. And also, thank you, Gary. And also, what happens is that there is also a lot of hydrogen gas made. So the water is very rich in hydrogen gas, and the hydrogen gas is itself what they call a free radical scavenger. It's an antioxidant. And so free radical scavenger is just another word for antioxidant. And so now you've got the hydrogen gas being the hero of the water, and you've got the OH minus being the hero of the water. And so that is where the power of the water comes from. The alkalinity side, let's walk into that. The alkalinity side is really the second hero, but the most wonderful hero of the water is the antioxidants, because it's slowing down aging, it's slowing down damage in your body. And so the hydrogen, we're talking about the acidity and the alkalinity. So the alkaline side of the body, the alkaline side, the alkaline side of the water is good in this way. Remember, our body is bombarded, drowning in acid. We're making all the acid wastes, and then we are eating, my gosh, all the food. Over 80% of the food is acidic. So therefore, you need to have some alkalinity to go in, and it's not vegetables, because vegetables, there's only a small amount there. You can't eat that much vegetables. You have to eat buckets to actually get what you will get from drinking this water. So the thing is, the alkalinity will actually neutralize the acid. When it neutralizes the acid, now the acid can be eliminated from the body, because acid can't be eliminated from the body until you neutralize it. So you've got to neutralize it with this water, and then it's out of the body. Then it's going to dial back. Having all the acids neutralized, you're going to dial back in your inflammation, and inflammation leads to asthma, worsening of diabetes, worsening of arthritis, you name it. So that is the alkaline side. And the superhydration, well, we all know we need the superhydration to actually remember water actually drives in nutrients into your body, and water removes toxins out of the body. If you can have a supercharged, highly, powerful thing that goes in and out so beautifully and quickly in the body, you're going to have peak state of health and peak immune system. I hope that's answered the question.
Yes, amazing, Win. I love the way you put it. You are very right. Nobody said it like how you do it. From now on, I'm going to call it Kangen water is the vampire killer. It's like, what vampire? You don't know what, like, the positive in the water that you are drinking has so much vampires in it. So it's truly amazing. Yeah. Okay. Jeffrey, any other questions?
Wow, simply amazing, Win. I love the way how you elaborate the three properties of Kangen water. I learned so much today. All right, the following question is from Lim's iPad. All right, will Kangen water clash with traditional Chinese medicine? Can diabetes drink this water? And also those without back spine issues, spondylitis can consume? Question mark.
Okay, let's look at the basics. Okay, the basics is, if you go back to regular water, what are you dealing with? You're dealing with acid. That's the body's enemy. You're dealing with oxidation. That is actually aging the body, degenerating it. If you go back to regular water, it's absorbing so poorly. What are you doing? It doesn't matter what disease you have, unless it's like, really bad kidney dialysis that you're going through, for example. And even then, don't drink the regular water, because it's actually hurting you. It's hurting your health. Just go back to basics. The basic is, if you go to regular water, it's hurting your health. So don't go back to that. That's the basics. It doesn't matter, about, okay, can you prove more about this water? Well, the thing you have to grasp is that the basics is the water is rich in alkalinity. Now, you don't want acid. So on the other direction, you don't want acid in your body, right? So why are you going in that direction? So the only direction left is to go to the direction that is alkaline, right? There's only two choices. And then, so your body is actually also and of course, regular water is actually very, very oxidizing. So you don't want to damage the body further. So regular water is acidic, it's oxidizing, and it's not hydrating. That's just that's if you it's like, you know, when you believe in God, people say when you're not sure, just go back to basics. What's the basics? You don't want to oxidize your body. You don't want to add acid to your body. You don't want water that absorbs poorly when you need it as much as air. Go back to basics. But answering your question about, I think you said diabetes, and you said, what was the other one, Jeffrey?
Will Kangen water clash with traditional Chinese medicine?
So the thing is, Kangen water in general is actually going to really mainly affect sustained release medications. So basically, we're talking about anything. Okay, so as a pharmacist, we know that sustained release medications are medications that are designed with a special coating that is designed to allow the drug to slowly escape from the core. And so only sustained release medications may potentially be affected by Kangen because it's super, super tiny. And so if it's affected, then basically you can have the drug actually being dumped, if you like, into the system, because those drugs are actually designed with special matrix to allow drug to escape slowly. So they're actually very, very potent. They're very high in concentration. So when you drink Kangen with sustained release or slow release or modified release medications, that can actually potentially happen. Like there might be a small, there may be potentially, we haven't done any studies, no one's done any studies, so no one can be sure, but let's pretend it may happen. That's why Enagic says, oh, drink regular filtered water with your medications. But in terms of herbs, there's no sustained release anything. And if anything, the herbs really need so much of the active ingredients drawn out, extracted from its core. So Kangen water should potentiate, increase the effect of herbs, because if you put herbs in regular water, you don't see a lot of the active ingredients drawn out. When you put the herbs in Kangen water, oh my gosh, so much is drawn out. So potentially the herbs will absolutely be potentiated. But ask your doctor. Okay, this is like, again, no medical claims. This is my own experience. Because, you know, as a pharmacist, I have to stay ethical, and I can't say things where people will come back to me and say, oh, but you said that. So I'm going to say myself, I absolutely encourage herbs to be drank with Kangen water because of that premise, that so much more of the active ingredients will be drawn out by Kangen water compared to regular water. So then much more will be pushed into the cells. And I have a downline. She actually says to me, she is a huge taker of supplements. And she notices that in the past, when she drank regular water, so much of the herbs would go into her urine. And she would actually smell all the herbal smell in the urine. Now, when she drinks Kangen, she doesn't smell those herbal smell anymore. So all of that, where do you think all that herb has gone? Of course, it's gone into the cells. So it's potentiated her supplements. So I would say personally, definitely herbs, go for it. But no medical claims here. And, disclaimer, ask your doctor, ask your, health professional, all of that. Staying politically correct. And in terms of diabetes, remember, Dr. Filzer has actually proven that this water is an anti-inflammatory. Diabetes, the root cause of diabetes is not only acid, but inflammation as well. If we can dial back both of those with Kangen water, no wonder a lot of diabetics are now free of diabetes, like they're off their medications, or their medications have lowered, the dosage has lowered so much from Kangen water. And so I hope that's answered the question. And, you know, the person just asked, you know, can you take this? Well, it doesn't matter what condition you have, unless you are, you know, under dialysis and you have limited water intake, you know, sort of allowance. But even then, you shouldn't drink the wrong water. But whatever condition you have, please know if you're going to drink water that oxidizes you, makes you more deteriorated, water that actually is acidic, when acid is your enemy, if you drink that, you're doomed. If you drink water that is actually going to oxidize your body, you're doomed. If you're drinking water that is actually hydrating or absorbing poorly, you're doomed. You need water to nourish you, and you need water to detox you. You're doomed if you're drinking regular water. Go back to basics. Please stop asking, is it okay for this condition? Because if you understand what is good for your body, you wouldn't need to ask that. Thank you, Gary and Jeffrey and everyone.
All right, Win. I think for the participant on the floor, what we're trying to say is that try to picture it yourself, all right? This is your body, all right? Imagine, do you want to put the best of the thing in the world inside your body, or you just want to put a regular thing, guys? All right, seriously think about it, all right?
In fact, Jeffrey, is not even regular. A lot of people, I mean, Win, I'm sure you will agree with me on this. A lot of people don't even bother to think of what they are just putting the sodas and the weird stuff, you know. They put alcohol. I've seen people drink brandy just like they're drinking Chinese tea, you know. And then when you tell them Kangen, they tell you they have to ask 125 specialist doctors before they can do that. I mean, what planet they came from, sometimes you just wonder, you know. I mean, and guys, do you all notice there are a lot of people who just, you know, walked into a convenience shop, open the fridge, reach into something that looks so marketable, you know, the packaging, and then they just pay and they just drink it. Since, I mean, like, why don't they want to research on what's inside there? So yeah, that's really something that it just baffles me. Yeah, but Win, what you mentioned there is very true. It's like sometimes people always ask, can I do this, can I do that? I mean, think about, if you have a fish, like, you remember what the Dr. Michael Donaldson talks about, the fish tank, right? Would you want to put good water and have the aquarium being nice, or you want to put lousy water inside and get all molded up, right? Yeah, okay, over to you, Jeffrey. Last two questions, maybe?
Yeah, last two questions, all
right. 9:41 now. Last two questions.
Okay, before I give the last two questions, I want to give a big shout out to this participant today. After I sent the words out, she's been owning her video throughout the entire section. A big shout out to Laksha Sudahaka. All right, congrats to you, 100% participant. All right, so her question is, what do we say to people who say that alkaline water doesn't actually make our body alkaline? People tell me that anything that goes into your stomach becomes acidic. They say that the pH of our stomach is 2.5 pH naturally. Over to you, Win.
Okay, pardon me. The first thing you need to understand is that when you drink this water, it gets absorbed instantly from the moment it hits your mouth. So all the absorption is happening from the mouth all the way down to the esophagus and then down to the stomach. Now, the thing we need to understand also is that Kangen water is OH minus. It's actually not, it's not going to react with the stomach acid because chemistry-wise, it doesn't react. OH minus doesn't react with hydrochloric acid. It doesn't react to neutralize one another. So the actual, and this is backed up by Dr. Michaels as well. What happens is the acidity is not neutralized, or basically they don't react together. So the Kangen water actually stays literally like that, and then it gets absorbed. And so what happens is also, say if it even, you know, did affect it a little bit, say, well, please know that the 2.5 is not always what our pH is in the stomach at all times. You only get about 1.6 to 2.4 pH when you see food. Like the instant that you see food, your stomach starts to make acid, and that's when it goes into that state, or the band of very high acidity. Outside of their eating time, your stomach's not that low in pH. It's not that acidic, and so it's usually roughly about pH 4. So there's not that much acidity there. Why? Because if the stomach was always about pH 2.5, we all will walk around with ulcers in our stomach everywhere. It will eat into the stomach. That 2.5, where there's no food, it's going to eat into the stomach, and you're going to have, we would walk around all with ulcers everywhere. So please know that. That there's actually evidence to support that also. When you actually have alkalinity in the stomach, the moment that alkalinity stimulus happens on that valve between the stomach and the gut, what happens is that valve opens. So the valve opens, so therefore it's going to go straight down into the gut, the colon, where everything is absorbed. So remember, the water is absorbed from the mouth all the way down to the throat, all the way down to the esophagus. And then when it hits that valve, boom, that alkaline stimulus opens the valve, and now water goes into the gut for all the absorption to take place. So those people that say that haven't done their research.
All right. Yeah.
Is that the whole of the question? I can't remember all of the parts of it, but I think that's answering it.
Yeah, that's answering it. Okay, we have one last question. Is from Taulia. Taulia, what should we do if a person used the 2.5 on skin rashes and getting worse and spread all over the body? Please let me know what will be done next, whether to continue use or not, or can we use pH 11 instead of 2.5? Do you get it, Win?
Yes, I do. Pardon me. With that, what happens is, one of the things that a lot of people may not know about the Kangen water is that when you actually make the 2.5 and the 11.5, you need to run it like so well, so that when it gets to that very pungent smell, that's when you catch it. Okay, that's when you catch it. Some people actually catch it too early, and then when you've got enough, once that pungent smell comes up, when the acid is actually now in full strength, that pungent smell arises, you start catching. When you have caught enough, you take it away, then you turn it off. You don't turn it off and actually catch to the last drop. If you did that, you're going to have very lowered strength. I promise you. You try it. And so lots of people actually catch their 2.5 and 11.5 not correctly. So that is the first thing they got to check. Because the 2.5 literally works on almost anyone I know for eczematous skin. So maybe they're not actually catching the water properly. Don't catch the last drops when you have turned off the tap. Don't catch the last drop. What you should do again is catch it when it's, full strength. Catch it when there's enough. Take the catchment away, then turn off the tap. Don't turn off the tap. Keep catching until the last drop. Don't do that. You try it with the ORP. You will see that it can go, say the 11.5 can go at negative 850. When you catch the last drop, I've seen it go to minus 200 all the time. So be aware. And because I'm so thorough, I'm so meticulous, I notice those things. And so the first thing is catch it properly. Second thing is apply it every 4 hours if you can. Apply it every 4 hours. And then straight after that, maybe about, say, 10 to 15 minutes after, spray beauty water on. Why? Because if it's too acidic, it will kind of dry the skin out quite a bit, even though it's very therapeutic. No medical claims here. We're just talking about experiences. So what happens is once the 2.5 is on, wait for about 10 minutes, let it do its work, maybe 15 minutes, and then spray the beauty water to actually return the skin back to its normal pH, which is about 5.5. So the beauty water will actually bring it back to its healthy pH, because 2.5 is a little bit low for it, and it can dry it out. Other than that, if the 2.5 didn't work, it's probably because they're not drinking the water. Because when you drink the water is an actual proven anti-inflammatory. So when you drink the water, it's going to reverse or slow down or dial back the inflammation. And eczema is inflammation of the skin. So the water is a proven anti-inflammatory. So therefore, you want to drink the water to slow down or dial back the inflammation. So therefore, you then work from the inside and you work on the outside as well. You don't just work on the outside alone with the 2.5. You must actually work on the inside and make sure they're drinking enough. Because if they're only drinking 1 glass a day, that's not going to really help to dial back the inflammation. Remember that most of us, like adults, will lose about 2 liters a day, 2 liters of water. If you don't believe me, if you breathe onto glass, you can actually see water vapor. Every time you talk or you breathe, you're losing water vapor. So you're losing it through your skin, you're losing it through number 1, number 2, when you go to the restroom, and you lose it, through sweating. So you're losing 2 liters. If you don't put back the 2 liters, you're not going to step into the therapeutic range, the therapeutic band. And so maybe that person is actually not drinking enough as well. You can't rely just on the 2.5 alone if it's really, really serious and severe. And in terms of the 11.5, I guess if they've done everything that I've said and it still doesn't improve, I doubt it. But if it still doesn't improve, they could try the 11.5 because it's such a powerful anti-inflammatory and powerful antioxidant, and that will surely help with eczematous skin. But remember to return the skin back to its pH, which is by using the beauty water. Return it back to its natural healthy pH by using the natural, the lovely beauty water about maybe 15 minutes after you've used the 11.5.
Awesome.
Wow, awesome. I simply love the way you explain, the way you share your knowledge to us, Rin. Seriously, if I were new to Kangen and you were the one that approached me, I have sold, I will bought few unit from you. All right. Okay. First of all, before I pass the stage back to Gary, I would like to represent the 120 participants here today to say a big thank you to you, Win, for sharing your 2 hours of your valuable time here with us to pass on your knowledge to us. Simply amazing. All right. Our Q&A is closed for the day. I will pass the floor back to Gary Gard.